When I think about how hard it seems to me for some people to learn how to sell, it blows my mind, but it shouldn't. Because when I first started selling, I was terrible. I got started selling insurance and investments in October of 1985. I did not make my first sale until April of 1987. Within a very, very short period of time after I made my first sale, I became the top salesperson in our office month after month after month after month after month. What I'm going to share with you in this video is how I did that. And it doesn't matter if you sell real estate, if you sell insurance, if you sell cars, if you sell shoes, if you sell information, if you sell coaching, if you sell agency work, it doesn't matter. I'm going to share with you, multi-level marketing, all of it. I'm going to share with you how I sell. And selling to me now, it's easier than taking a nap. And I'm good at taking a nap. I make sure I take at least one a day, sometimes two. So here we go. Selling is hard. The number one reason selling is hard is because you want them to buy. That is the number one mistake new salespeople make in selling. They want the people to buy. Now, one of the reasons sales is easy for me, I am not vested. I don't pretend I don't care if they don't buy. I actually don't care. Now, how can I say I don't care if they buy? I'm in sales. I'm out talking to people. I'm making presentations, but I'm saying I don't care if they buy. I'm saying I don't care if they buy because I understand a law called the law of averages. And the law of averages says out of every X number of presentations I do, I'm going to make Y number of sales. For everybody, that average is going to be different. So for some people, that law of averages is going to say, well, for every 10 presentations I make, I'm going to make one sale. For somebody else, it's every 20 presentations I make, I'm going to make one sale. For another person, it's every 30. For one person, it might be for every 4 presentations I make one sale. Well, here's what's really cool. You can increase your average through a concept called pre-indoctrination. Pre-indoctrination sounds, ooh, but it's not. So think about the word doctrine. What does the word doctrine mean? The word doctrine means teaching. So doctrine means teaching that's inside them. So if you can teach them something about the result they desire, not about your stuff, not about your product, not about your offer, not about your service, but if you can teach them something about the transformation they're already looking for, before you make them the offer, the likelihood of them saying yes to the offer increases exponentially. It's mind-blowing. We have, by the way, I'm not patting, oh, Myron, you're so wonderful. Well, some days I'm wonderful, some days not so much. But this is October 13th, 2023. We're not even halfway through the 10th month yet, and our business has generated over $15 million in revenue, and we've spent $0 on ads. Do you know why? Because we have a YouTube channel that gets, I'm gonna look it up, so I'm gonna tell you the truth. We have a YouTube channel that gets about 2.1 million views a month, which is about, on the 9th, we got 78,000 video views on the 9th of October. 78,000 video views. Now, when I'm talking about pre-indoctrination, what I'm really talking about is you becoming more familiar to the people that you sell to. You're less likely to buy something from a person that you just met than you are somebody you feel like you know. Now, if you know them too well, you're probably not going to buy from them either. Just keeping it real. But you need to feel like you know them enough to believe they're credible, and then know them enough to believe they have your best interest in mind, and you have to believe on some level they are better at getting the result you lack than you are. So, I don't sell stuff on my YouTube channel. And that, like in general, I mean, every now and then we might promote a challenge or something, but I don't generally sell things. I'll probably do 10 to 20 content value-based videos on YouTube for every one time somebody sees me do a promotion. I mean, wrap your minds around that. So there's this research called the Dunbar Research where they discovered that a person has to spend 7 hours with you before they feel like they know you, like you, and trust you enough to buy something from you. And see, unfortunately for you, you're trying to sell the person as soon as they meet you. And it's like saying, hi, my name is Myron. Will you marry me? No, bro, I just met you. Are y'all tracking? Now, the day that I met my wife, I went back to my dorm and I told my brother, I met the girl today I'm gonna marry. But if I'd have told the girl that, I'd have had to marry somebody else because it'd have been over before it got started. How many of y'all tracking? Okay, how many hours are there in a day? 24. Or it depends on whose day. Now, my indoctrination days are long. How long are they? On the 11th, we had 10,641 hours on the 11th. So my days, my indoctrination days, have thousands of hours in them. So people are watching me for thousands of hours. Do you think they feel like they know me? I'm gonna tell you how much they feel like they know me. People I've never met call me Uncle Myron. I'm just saying. Okay, wait a minute. The 21st of September, that day had 18,378 hours in it, in one day. That's how much time people spent watching my, and here's what's cool. I ain't trying to sell them anything. Why? Because I know I don't have to. When the farmer plants the seed in the ground, he doesn't go out there every day and say, you gonna grow or not? The farmer does what the farmer does, and he trusts the soil and the sun and the water to do what only the sun, the soil, and the water can do. When I go on YouTube, I ain't trying to get anything from anybody. I'm just like, hey, I learned this really cool thing. Y'all gonna love it. And then I get all excited about it. And then people, oh my goodness, that thing changed my life. And then they say, I can't believe he's teaching this stuff for free. You know what that means? When somebody says, I can't believe he's teaching this stuff for free, you know what that means? That means I feel like I owe him. I don't feel like they owe me, but I don't mind them feeling like they owe me. And so when they find something that I have for sale, the thought that comes to their mind, if this man helped me this much for free, I can only imagine how much he's gonna help me if I pay him. Ta-da. You know what I call YouTube? You know what I call my YouTube channel? The content on my YouTube channel? I think it's like 416 or 420 videos. You know what I call that? That's my community service content. That's the stuff I put out into the world just to help people, even if I never meet them, if they never pay me a dime. I'm okay with it. Why? Because I understand the law of the farm. What is the law of the farm? Every deed is a seed. Every word is a seed. Every thought is a seed. Every dollar is a seed that I'm sowing into the garden of my future. If I sow good seeds, it's impossible for me not to reap a good harvest. It's impossible for me not to reap a good harvest. Are y'all tracking? And so I just sow good seeds. I literally put up a video. Watch this now. I put up a video every day on YouTube. Every day. Either a long form or short form video. Every day on YouTube. I give the people who want to hear from me something to hear from me. Every day. You don't have to be that obsessive. I'm just obsessive. What can I say? But I only make like a big offer once a month. Wrap your mind around that. In a 31-day month, they get 30 days of community service. They get 31 days of community service. One offer. See, we've all heard it said that an educated customer is going to be your best customer. We've all heard that. But when was the last time you watching this video, you in this room, when was the last time you wrote a book that solved the problem of your ideal client? And all they had to do was read the book and it helped them. This book right here, I got a guy in Canada, English is his second language. French is his first language. He read this book. He said, Myron, I read the book. I did what was in the book. This is a terrible French accent, I know. Don't judge me. Pray for me. I did what was in the book. I parlez-vous dans my français. Okay, I'm done. I made $800,000 in the last 2 months. I did what was in the book. Guess what else he did? He came and bought my $155,000 inner circle. I didn't have to go knock on his door. I didn't have to ask him. He said, you helped me so much in that book. I want to give you some of this money so you can help me make some more. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? See, what I realize, I'm not in a hurry to make a sale. You're in such a hurry to make a sale, you're chasing people away. You know what I do? Put out content. You know what else I do? I wait for them to come looking for me. Here's what I know. See, here's what's amazing. People, they don't really like me enough to buy something because I need to make a sale. So me needing to make one is not going to do anybody any good. It ain't going to do me any good. It ain't going to do them any good. So I might as well just look out for them. And if I look out for them long enough, they're going to come looking for me so they can pay me for some more. Here's what I realized. I realized that there are already in the world right now hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who would love to pay me. Millions of people who would love to pay me if they only knew I existed and had their solution. And see, the reason I make so much money and we make so many sales is because I don't go looking for those people. I make myself so findable that they stumble upon me and ask this question, where have you been my whole life? And you're so worried about what you think somebody's going to think about the sound of your voice or how your hair looks or how you look or how much you weigh, you won't put any content out for the marketplace to serve them. I'm just keeping it real. And here's the thing. All of us know something that'll help somebody other than us. All of us know something. There was a group of people out there in the world waiting for Miss Homemaker Martha Stewart to write a book on how to decorate your house. And now she's a billionaire with a B, baby. See, we think it's some big breakthrough. Well, it is. Here's the breakthrough. Go serve the people. He will be greatest among you. Let him be servant of all. Care more about them getting their result than you do about their getting their money, and I promise you, you'll start making sales. That's where it starts. Law of averages. Okay, so we talked about the law of averages. Talked about I am never trying to make a sale. I'm never trying to get anybody to buy. To me, selling is not about me trying to get you to buy. To me, selling is me persuading you, which is not the same as convincing you. I believe that convincing is the opposite of sales. I think convincing is what people who are bad at sales resort to because they're so terrible at sales. And that's why people think they don't like sales, because they don't like it when people try to convince them. I don't like it when people try to convince me. Bro, leave me alone. I already said no. Leave me alone. You don't have to convince. By the way, you can't convince me. If my no don't mean maybe not. Right? And so, But I know what I want. I think about my tailor, Tiffany. She called me back in January. I didn't know her. And I don't like telephones. And I don't like talking on the phone. Even if I like you, I don't want to talk to you on the phone. It's not because I don't the phone is like a handcuff. Right? And so when my phone rings and I see a number I don't recognize, I don't answer it. But I answered it this day because I think I was waiting for a plumber, or I was waiting on somebody to come do something in this building, come do something in my house, and I answered, hey, this is Tiffany, and so-and-so gave me your name. And when she said so-and-so's name, I didn't know them either. And now I'm looking at my phone like, why are you calling me, and how did you get my number? And I said, who gave you my number? And she told me the guy's name, Rod something. I said, I don't know him. And I said, I don't know him. And I wasn't being mean, but I was being direct. I didn't want her to be confused and think I was okay with this. I'm keeping it real. She said, well, my name's Tiffany Taylor, and my name's Tiffany Taylor. My name's Tiffany Sanders, and I'm Rod's tailor, and he thought you might be interested in some suits. Some dude I don't know think I might be interested in some custom suits. I said, you make custom suits? She said, yeah. Yeah, I might be interested in that. Come by and see me. Why? Not because it wasn't anything she said. There was nothing she said. It was not her presentation. It was the fact I was looking for a tailor. I was like, man, you know what? In fact, I got one of the guys in my inner circle, I was gonna call his tailor, but he lives somewhere else. This person lives locally. I can have a tailor that lives locally. This is gonna be great. So, okay, I'll look at some of your stuff. She comes by my house. She sells me 4 suits, and it was $26,000. But that's not the point. The point is, I didn't know her, didn't want her calling my phone, didn't know the person who gave her my number, but I already wanted the custom suits. See, there are already out there in the world millions of people who'd love to buy what you'd love to sell if they only knew you existed. And she did cold outreach. It wasn't cold. I mean, it was like Antarctica cold call. Calling my phone. And I think I bought 15 suits and a tuxedo from her since January. Why? Because I wanted a tailor. I already wanted it. There are people out there who already want what you have. They're already waiting for you to show up so they can buy the stuff that you sell. I'm just keeping it real. She didn't have to do any high pressure clothes. I already wanted a tailor. I'm telling you, there are people who are looking for you right now in your town. Okay, you got that part. So now, let's get to the part where let's do some one-on-one selling. Okay? So, sales requires some intestinal fortitude, but one of the first things you're gonna have to do if you're gonna be, how many of y'all are gonna be committed to getting better at sales? Okay. So here's what you gotta do. First thing you gotta do to get better at sales, get better at buying. Stop having an attitude every time somebody wants to sell you something. Like, my attitude with Tiffany wasn't that she wanted to sell me something. My attitude with her was that she called my phone and I don't know you, and you got my number from somebody I don't know, and now I don't know how you got my number, I don't know how they got my number, now everybody gonna be calling me. Right? That's why I had an attitude, right? And so become a better buyer. Become a happy payer. Why? Because everything reproduces after its own kind. You know why the people that pay me are so happy to pay me? Because the people I pay, I'm so happy to pay them. I don't hesitate either. Like, fast pay makes fast friends. Y'all tracking? Okay, so that's first. Now, my recommendation when it comes to selling and when it comes to coaching, groups are better than one-on-one. So if you can figure out a way to sell what you sell to a group versus selling it to one person at a time, you will make way more money, way more faster. Way more, like way more. Okay? So, do your presentation to a group, and then if the offer gets to be above $5,000, do your closing one-on-one. That way, the people who it's not for can disqualify themselves without wasting any of your time. Does that make sense? So it can be, you can do a webinar, send people. Now, because I'm just who I am, like we have our sales guy close one-on-one for our $55,000 offer and above. Everything below that, $25,000, $27,000, $20,000, we don't book calls with those people. We just tell them, go buy it. If you want it, go buy it. If you don't want it, don't go buy it. I'm going to the golf course. I'll see y'all later. Right? That's pretty much my close. Right? But when you get on a booked call, when you're new, if you're selling something for $5,000 or even $2,000, you might want to start booking calls with people just so you can get good at it. So the presentation happens to the group. Maybe it was a webinar. Maybe it was a challenge. Maybe it was a video sales letter. Maybe it was an automated webinar. It doesn't matter. So they see the presentation, then you go on and you ask them. The first question I always ask in sales is, so what did you like best about what you saw in the presentation? And they tell me. Great. What questions, if any, do you have? That's the second question I ask. And they ask a question. Guess what I do when they ask me a question? I answer it. And then guess what question I ask next? What other questions do you have? They ask me another question. And I answer it. I hope they ask me 15 questions. If they ask me 15 questions, they buy it. If they ask me 7 questions or more and they're qualified, they're buying. Why? Because how do you overcome objections? I don't let questions turn into objections. What is an objection? An objection is a question that you allowed to fester by not answering it in your presentation. I know there'll be people who disagree with me. Okay. All I can say is, do you, boo. But I'm telling you, like, me? Ain't no, I wish I looked like I thought I was going to overcome an objection. Myron, I'm not sure. Why, I'm looking at so-and-so's coaching program and looking at yours. Why should I buy yours? You shouldn't. You should buy theirs. Not with an attitude. Like, literally, you shouldn't. You should buy theirs. Well, don't you want to convince me? No. I already know who I am. And if you don't know, go buy theirs. Yeah, I'm done. I don't have a half an ounce of convince in me anywhere. Anywhere. And so, what other questions do you have? I ask them, what other questions do you have, until they run out of questions. And then finally they say, I don't have any more questions. I say, great. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? The law of reciprocity says they have to say what? No, I don't mind. Great. What appeals to you the most about what you saw so far? Like building a super successful business and creating generational wealth for your family, or doing that in the next 3 to 5 years, or both? Guess what they always say? Both. Why? It was the last thing I said. They don't want to think about it, so they'll say both. I say, great. If you had an opportunity to start benefiting from both sooner or later, would you choose sooner or would you choose later? I say, would you choose later or would you choose sooner? Would you choose later or would you choose sooner? So I say, if you had an opportunity to start benefiting from both sooner or later, would you choose later or would you choose sooner? So I ask the question, would you choose sooner? But I'm ending with the phrase, choose sooner. And guess what they say? Sooner. Great. How do you spell your first name? That's how I close. They already know the price. They already know all the information. How do you spell your last name? How do you spell your first name? B-O-B. Okay, got it. How do you spell your last name? S-M-I-T-H. I don't care what their name is. How do you spell your first name? How do you spell your last name? Most people pay with Visa. The initial payment is $2,000. Most people pay with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. The rest is wired. Which card will you be using to get started today? American Express. Great. What's that number? Like when I'm closing somebody on one of my offers, I don't send them a link and let them pay. I close them on the spot. I'm right there, filling it out myself. You're going to get an email. When you get that email, it's going to give you the wire instructions. You have to wire the balance by XYZ time in order for you to get access to this by that date. Bada bing, bada boom. And you're going to have an onboarding, and the first training is next, blah, blah, blah. And then you're done. I am telling you, that closing sequence, I've closed millions of dollars in sales one-on-one, across the kitchen table, belly to belly, nose to nose, toes to toes, across the kitchen table. It works. It's not theory. If you will take all of those things into heart and you will do them, you will get better at sales. And stop trying to get people to buy. Just realize some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting next. SWSWSWN. It's a wrap. I hope this helps you. Go make some sales, make some money, set your family free. In the meantime, in between time, peace out, Cub Scout.